Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to MineFam. Today is episode 10. Holy cow, we are in double digits now. That just hit me, I'll be honest with you. But anyway, some of you might recognize where we are. If not, that's okay. There used to be chests right here with a bunch of glass in them because this is where the Guardian farm is. And I do apologize to you all because I totally forgot to update you guys on when this was done. I remember in episode, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe even 3, we talked about, or I showed you guys how I'd cleared out the water and everything out of here, and since then, this has happened. And so it's not completely done yet, but it does look cool. So actually, we'll go ahead and stop on the sand thing. I still kind of want to replace all this sand with glass, and potentially even replace the bottom with something else as well. Got to clean up just a smidge, but yeah, it's completely done. So maybe we can catch a couple spawn, and we might be too close, but yeah, the Guardians spawn in these little chambers, and the soul sand pushes them up, and as you can see, the frame rates are dropping drastically. But yeah, they spawn in here, they go up, they go into those water chutes or water channels, and then up that soul sand elevator, and then up to the storage, which is up here. And once we get up here, you'll really see the rates start to pick up. So if we stand up here, I need to redesign this portion because this is not fully operational yet. The part about killing them with the sword. Right now they all fall right here and their drops get picked up, but as you can see, they start coming in very quickly. And it is loud, so, but yeah, you can see them all starting to come up here. And actually, if I go out here, you can really see them, yep. And that's not the most efficient design at the top, but they do make it down. And if they end up not falling, or excuse me, not dying from fall damage, the magma finishes them off too. So from this, that's where we've been getting all the sea lanterns. If you've seen them in some of Viru's builds, and we've been using them in some other places too, but this whole wall I have designated for the shards because they come in so much faster than the rest. And then over here are the crystals, and as you can see, we've been using them for sea lanterns. So it's pretty empty. I might need to AFK here actually. But yeah, and then cod over here, which is why I've been eating cooked cod, which Flash got onto me for last video, but it's okay. He can live his simple-minded food ways, even though he does get gold carrots easily. So I guess I can't say too much about it. But yeah, anyway, the only reason I remembered this is because the project I mentioned in the last episode that I wanted to show you an update for is really close to here. And it's actually that way, but I'm going to show you through the nether because I guess it'll kind of orient you guys if I've shown you this path. I know I haven't shown you the steps, but this is the path to get to the Guardian farm, and if we'll hit the main path out of our nether portal, that's the flower farm portal to kind of orient you guys, and then that way is to the skelly spawner, and then the main portal is right just out of render range. But the new thing that we did is right over here, and you might have seen it out of the corner of your eye, is this portal right here. And I actually need something before I can show you guys, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. Can you tell what I got? Maybe if I do this, you'll be able to tell. Well, they're both in my hand. Anyway, yeah, so I stopped by a pillager outpost, and maybe you can guess why I needed the bad omen, which you can see at the top right of my screen, because I have made a raid farm. Yep. And if this is the one by Rayworks, and I can't show you at the moment because I do have the bad omen, but we will, here when I show you how this works, I will drop down to where you see that stone and stuff down there and the repeater right there, right beside the beacon, and it'll shoot back up, and there's a villager way down there, which you can kind of see just right of my cursor, which is just below. And once again, for this farm, I will save you guys' ears by doing that. Actually, let's keep it on a little bit. That way you can hear it a smidge. But so if we turn this on, those pistons start going back and forth. And if we turn this switch on, the observer clock right there starts going. And there seems to have been some backup items. But anyway, all that filters into these chests, which have been filling up. So we get emeralds, the heads, the banners, and then these are witch drops right here. And then we get the random drops here. And then we have a lot of these. 8 double chests of totems, which is just well, about 7 double chests of totems, which is just ridiculous, if in my opinion, but pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So just to give you one quick demonstration, if I hop right in, so this clock is going right here, right behind the redstone block. If I hop in here, bump up to the wall, and then look right here, in just a couple seconds, it will drop me down. And then as we drop, you'll see the bad omen goes away and the raid bar comes in. And then when we hop back up to the top, we'll hear all the horns go off at once. And let me do this just real quick. Love that sound. But then all of a sudden, all of them start coming down in here. And we just kind of swing every second or two. And then just get all the drops. And then when you're done, we just hop out here, grab our milk bucket from Patricia, chug the milk to get rid of the bad omen we just got, fill it back up, and plop it back in the item frame. And then we turn both these switches off, and then I can turn my volume back on with not that button, this one. Oop. And then we're done. And I honestly had a blast putting this farm together. But all the because of the way raid mechanics work, since we're out of the range of the village down there, which is the villager on a bed, all the raid mobs spawn in up here on this ice platform, and then those guys, and I might have done it bad potentially, but all those guys spawn in up there, and actually it's a good thing you fell off. But usually when you fall, all those mobs will despawn, and so then there's room for the new ones to spawn in. So this was my other project that I hinted at, and so now let's head right back to the Iron Towers. Alright, so we're flying back in here to the Iron Towers area, and we're gonna... Oh, it didn't even hit me before at that time. But, as you can see, just like we left it, except I went ahead and punched the holes in the floor where the villagers are going to come out of the breeders at. So what I'm envisioning is that they fall out, and I think I want them to have their 7 chambers like on this wall. So what I'm envisioning is each of them will have their own little pod that they will fall into, and then we have the option of getting them out of. And I think here, I'll just throw one down for an example. I think I want something like just a simple something like this, to where, and then there's a window here, and they're standing right here, then they come out, and then they're standing there. And if you want that villager, you hit like a button right here, and it's going to take them over to something else over there. But then if you want to breed more of this villager, you hit this button or that, or a button right there, or something like that, or even have the desired button right there, the breeding button there, or something like that, to where we can distinguish between, we're going to send some redstone signals up there, and I'll explain that idea in a minute. But then I also want to have the option to get one if we so desire. So, like I said, I think I'm wanting an evil lab type of evil, well, not evil, but kind of like it's clean and factory-like, but also lab-like, and you can tell something is going down that's not in the best interest of the subjects in the lab, if you know what I mean. So let me I think I'm gonna lower the floor one and put the floor design on this level rather than up one. And I think I might do the same for the ceiling because I kind of like how big this is. So I think I'll bump the ceiling up one and then put the ceiling design on there as well. So let me go ahead and get some progress on that, and then we'll see what it looks like. All right, so I may or may not have done the floor and the ceiling and that. So I got a little bit carried away. But the thing about this is I don't want it to, oh, hello, scaffolding. I don't want them all to be different like this. So the reason they're all different is because I cannot decide what design I like the best. So the downside of, well, let's start over. The good side of using concrete and terracotta is that you can make these large flat surfaces without any of the dividing lines like this and like those over there. But the downside is that you don't have stairs and slabs. So with just the terracotta, this is all we can do as far as like angles. You can only have the 1 block gaps or 1 block corners and everything like that. But then you start getting into all these other blocks and you have the ability to put stairs and make a little bit shallower angles like this side view that you can see and that sort of thing. And I love the quartz, the smooth quartz, but it somewhat clashes with the white concrete a little bit. And this is obviously not the final lighting, so it'll look a little different depending on how we decide to light the place. But the other thing we could do to make this work is if we have a main path, a main walkway coming like this way, and then making a hard left over to where we're going to do the treadstone stuff. If we have this main walkway, we can have smaller walkways coming up to here that aren't the white concrete in the floor, so we could have a darker block, and then that would make it to where this doesn't clash directly with the block. So that would be the one cop out for this. I don't know, but I want you guys to help me decide honestly on what we want this to look like, this wall. This is kind of the idea I had. I was trying to explain, and I put this one in as an example because I sort of like this stripe coming up with whatever block we decide to go with, or whatever mixture of blocks we decide to go with. And then I also just threw this up with the small extra at the top. So yeah, I really want you guys' opinion and you guys' help on what we're gonna do here. So eventually, you get the idea. The villagers are gonna be standing where that dirt block is, and this one will be the desert villagers because they will come from their pod over there and make their way down back behind the wall, and we'll have a little system that sorts. The babies will stay back there, and only the adults will come and land right on that dirt block. And so yeah, that is what it's going to look like. Desert villager there, savannah, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so now I want to show you guys what I had in mind for the redstone at the top. Alright, so I've grabbed my redstone box, and we're going to hop right up here to the top. Some glass for this. So my idea is, for each one of these little pods, and we'll start over here with the snow villagers. So right now, all of these are turned off. So this, when it's on, the farmer villager can throw carrots to this pair of villagers, and then they breed together, and the baby drops down that glass chute down to where we want to put them. But right now, these 3 blocks are turning the breeder off, and so I want to get rid of these and make these glass. Because when I turn it off, if the farmer is standing here, I don't want him to suffocate. So I'm going to change all these to glass first of all. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to throw down 1, 2, 3 so that we can get this going here. So if we put that down there, and then actually let me do this as well. Put that there. Grab a sticky piston, which I need to make. And then we're gonna, nope, that's in the wrong spot. Put that there. Grab that, and then actually I don't even need to go into there. So when it's off, this piston will be extended, pushing those glass blocks in the way of each of these breeding pairs. So every one of these is going to look like this, but eventually we're going to have it to where this piston is extended down when it's off. And then so when it's on, when I want to turn this pair on, all those pistons stay extended to keep them in the way, but then this sticky piston will pull these 3 slime blocks and those 3 glass blocks up so that the farmer villager can access this breeding pair. And so let me go around and get these all sorted out. Alright, so I changed out all the dirt blocks and put the pistons in on this tower and on this tower over here as well. And so the idea is that I want those pistons to be controlled from down here. And let me grab some buttons, and maybe this will influence y'all's decision making on these blocks. But the idea is I want one of these buttons, as I mentioned earlier, I want one of these buttons to be able to give us one of these villagers. So a minecart will come out from either this side or that side and then take that villager and transport them straight over there. And we'll do that circuit either next episode or the next. But as you can see, this button, I've went ahead and put repeaters back there. So when we hit this button, that repeater lights up. And the same thing on this side. So I want one of these buttons to do the rail cart, or excuse me, the mine cart thing. And then I want the other button to send that signal up to each of those pistons that we just put in. So what we need to do, I think, is hop over to my redstone testing world and see if we can create a circuit that when I hit this button, I want the Savannah villagers to be able to breed, but at the same time, when I hit this button, if the Plains villagers are allowed to breed and I hit this button, I want the Savannah villagers to breed, but not the Plains villagers. So I want a system that turns this one on and all the other ones off at the same time. So, and I know we could do that with, like, we put a lever here. We could turn this on, turn it off, then turn this on, but that's boring and we don't want to do that. So let's go see real quick if we can create a little bit of a circuit. So welcome to my redstone testing world. This is, as you can see, where I kind of make ugly things to see how things work. You might recognize that as the flower farm. This is what I was trying to figure out how to make that work before I got it. This is a little project potentially we might come back to in the future. That's a past project, and then you'll recognize that as the sugarcane farm. But over here is what I want to show you. So I've set up kind of a copy of the wall that we want to deal with over in the realm. And this is what I want. So I want the right button to be the one that we press, and it sends the signal up to the pistons that control the villagers that breed and don't breed. So what we're using is a selector panel made by Etho. And one of the amazing things I think about Minecraft is that Etho made this and put this on YouTube 7 years ago, and it still is like what people use as the base selector panel, no matter what's been added to the game in redstone wise or block wise. This is still the selector panel. But anyway, so the way this thing works is if I hit this button, everything, the magic happens and this light stays on. But if I hit this button over here, that light comes on and it automatically turns this light off. So the only thing I adjusted was I spread it out, and he did this, and I'll put a link to that video in the description here. But the only thing I changed was I pushed this back, and he has an explanation on how to do that as well. So this still works the same exact way. If I hit that button, it stays on. Hit that button, that one stays on. And then both of these have a reset button, which is this over here, and that turns off all the buttons. So what I did was I brought the expanded version and put it in the back here. And so now if we hit this button, this redstone line takes this and puts it into this input. This one goes to that input, as you can see. And I've added the note blocks just for satisfaction. So when I hit this button, it's a lovely little sound. And back here you can see that light board change. And this, I have this idea for the actual realm. And I don't know. I might want a light tower, and I might just want 1 or 2 lights somewhere. But I do want an indicator on the front somewhere that you can see. So when you have this button pressed, this light is on. There we go. This light is on. But if I hit this one, that light goes off, and then this one comes on just like that. So this is the system that we are going to use, and obviously the villagers will come down, and I cannot use it like this. I'll have to scoot it to the side because I need my villagers to fall from somewhere here, go here, and then be brought into the optional chamber. So we'll have to move this if this is what we go with, but this is the idea. And like I said, I'll put a link to Etho's video on that selector panel in the description. And so yeah, this is what's going to go behind the face, and then we can take a redstone signal out of these torches and take them this way and up to go to the pistons on top. But I think that's all the time we have for today. A couple of people have mentioned me doing third-person time lapses for these big builds that we do, and that is something that we are working on, I promise. The problem right now is that we play on a realm, and as good as Realms is for things like playing with a few of your friends, servers, online servers are a little bit better for server performance when there's more people. And why that matters is because if you do a third-person time lapse without the replay mod, you have to have a second camera account. So we are looking into that as a group. We have to talk to each other, talk to the Flash, talk to Jesse, talk to Viru, see what we all want to do, and hopefully in the near future we will have those types of things and a few more fancy things to show off. So thank you guys so much for watching the videos. I thank you for your continued support, and if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you do want to stay up to date on all the happenings that we put on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.